At 10 o'clock that night, Olivia was doing press backstage at the awards ceremony. "Who do you want to thank most for winning Best Actress?" the host asked. She paused for 3 seconds. Then she looked directly into the camera and said, "My ex-husband." I nearly choked on my instant noodles. Half an hour later, the hashtags blew up. Who is Olivia's ex-husband? Olivia's secret marriage. Olivia, he finally left me. I stared at the last one for a full minute. Olivia, are you out of your mind? The divorce papers were still warm. And now you're dropping this on me. The AC at the county clerk's office was lousy. It was September, not too hot, not too cold, but with so many people packed into the lobby, the air felt thick, like a damp towel draped over the room. I sat in a plastic chair, watching the clerk flip through our paperwork page by page. Olivia sat beside me, the newly crowned Best Actress, 27 years old, nominated for 3 major awards. Last year, her art house film had crushed both the box office and award season. She had 80 million followers on Twitter, and even a blurry side profile of her would get edited into viral god-tier shots. Right now she wore a black baseball cap and a face mask, the brim pulled low so only her eyes were visible. She wasn't wearing heavy makeup that day. There was a faint redness at the corners of her eyes. "Both of you confirm this divorce is voluntary?" the clerk asked. I nodded. "Yes." The clerk looked over at her. Olivia was quiet for a moment before she answered. "Yes." Her voice was barely a whisper. The stamp came down. Thud. 2 years of marriage. Over just like that. When I held the divorce certificate in my hand, I felt almost dazed. It was a lighter shade than the marriage license. And it felt lighter too. But for some reason, it felt heavy enough to make my fingers tingle. When we walked outside, it was drizzling. Not hard, just a fine, thin rain that hit the steps and quickly turned into gray smudges underfoot. Olivia's black SUV was parked at the curb. Her assistant Tara stood by the car and hurried over with an umbrella the second she saw us. "Olivia." Olivia didn't move. She looked at me. "Ethan, where are you heading tonight?" "Westside." Westside was where I lived. A small photography studio, living space upstairs, shooting area downstairs. The location was nothing special, and the rent wasn't cheap, but the light was perfect. At 4 in the afternoon, the setting sun would turn the entire wall of windows warm gold. Olivia had been there a few times before. Not often, though. She was too busy. Busy filming. Busy with appearances. Busy being the flawless Olivia Voss who never made a mistake. I was busy too. Busy taking jobs, editing photos, setting up lights, shooting product catalogs, magazine spreads, and portrait sessions for clients. We'd been married 2 years. But the total time we'd actually lived under the same roof was probably less than 6 months. It didn't sound much like a marriage. More like 2 roommates with completely opposite schedules. Olivia looked at me. "I'll have Tara pack up the stuff you left at my place and drop it off." "Dawn, bother." "Why not? There's not much there." I meant it. A few clothes, a backup camera, a pair of slippers, and a photo. I'd taken it of her. Not a glossy commercial shot. Not a red carpet retouch. Just her, coming home from a night shoot, sitting by the window of my studio zoning out. She was wearing my jacket. Half her hair was damp, and she was holding a cup of hot cocoa that had gone cold. She wasn't looking at the camera. I didn't call her name. I just took the shot. When I printed it out later, she stared at it for a long time. "Why do I look so tired in this?" "Because you are tired," I said. She was quiet for a long time, then took the photo with her. I thought she'd thrown it away. "Just get rid of all of it," I said. Olivia's lashes fluttered. "Even the photo?" "Yeah." She looked at me. For a second, I almost thought she'd say something. But in the end, she just nodded. "Okay." Tara glanced nervously between us and opened the car door. Right before she got in, Olivia turned around. "Ethan." "Yeah. Are you happy now?" I froze for a second. Rain beaded on the brim of her cap. Tiny clear drops. I wanted to say yeah. I'm happy, free at last. But the words twisted on my tongue. And all I said was, "It's fine." She smiled faintly. It was a small, fleeting smile. "You always say it's fine." The car door shut. The black SUV pulled into the rain and vanished around the corner. I stood there for a while, touching the divorce certificate in my pocket. Free. I should feel free. I took a cab back to Westside. The driver had an entertainment radio station on. The Golden Deer Awards are tonight. And Olivia is the frontrunner for Best Actress for her role in Long Night. The driver glanced in the rearview mirror. You a fan of Olivia too? Kid. I stared at my phone. Don't know her. The driver laughed. She's everywhere. Who do you know? Then. I thought for a second. The guy who runs the beef noodle shop downstairs. The driver chuckled for a good while. It was past 4 when I got back to the studio. The rolling shutter downstairs was halfway up. My assistant Jake was inside setting up light stands. He hurried over the second. He saw me. Dude. How'd it go? I slapped the divorce certificate into his hand. He looked down and sucked in a breath. You actually did it. Would it have an official stamp if it was fake? Jake's face was a mess of emotions. So I can't call her the boss lady anymore. You never dared say it to her face anyway. I meant it when I said it behind her back. I ignored him and hung my jacket over the back of a chair. The studio wasn't big. First floor was the shooting area, one white wall, one gray wall, a few rolling backdrop stands, light stands, reflectors, tripods, and client samples were piled in the corners. Upstairs was my place, a tiny bedroom, an open kitchen, and a workbench permanently covered in hard drives and camera bags. Jake said, "Wanna celebrate tonight?" Celebrate what? Celebrate being single again. I gave him a look. Do I look like I'm in a celebrating mood? Jake studied me seriously for 3 seconds. Nah. Then shut up. That night? It was past 9 by the time I finished editing the last set of client photos. There was nothing in the fridge but 2 cans of beer and a box of frozen dumplings. I didn't feel like cooking. So I made a cup of instant noodles. The TV was on. The Golden Deer Awards live broadcast was right at the Best Actress announcement. I reached for the remote to change the channel. Dead batteries. Great. The hardest thing in the world to avoid isn't falling for your ex all over again. It's a dead TV remote. The camera cut to the audience. Olivia was in the front row. She was wearing a long black dress. Her hair pulled up. A tiny pearl earring dangling from one ear. The stage lights hit her face. And she looked as beautiful as a cool-tone movie poster. But I could still tell. She was exhausted. Her jaw was tight. And her fingers kept picking at the edge of her nominee card. The host read the name. Best Actress goes to Olivia Voss. Long Night. The room erupted in applause. Olivia stood up. She walked up to the stage and accepted the trophy. Her acceptance speech was polished. Steady. Thank you to the director. The cast and crew. The audience. Everyone who'd supported her. Then, at the very end, she paused. The camera zoomed in. She looked out at the crowd, but it felt like she was looking past them. At something farther away. There's one more person. He used to say I had great camera sense. But I was always out of focus in real life. A few people in the audience laughed. My chopsticks froze midair. She stared down at the trophy. I didn't get it back then. I get it now. A little too late. The room went quiet. Olivia gripped the microphone tighter. Thank you. And I am sorry. I stared at the TV. And a heavy feeling settled in my chest for no reason. Then I told myself to get a grip. It's an award show. She's an actress. Dramatic speech. Stage effect. Don't read into it. I went back to my noodles. At 10:30. My phone started blowing up. Jake. Liam. High school group chat. College group chat. Even my mom. I had a bad feeling. I opened my messages. Liam had sent like 20 texts in a row. Ethan. Your ex has lost it. I'm not even insulting her, she's actually gone off the deep end. She mentioned you in the backstage interview. Trending #1. I opened Twitter. #1 trending, who is Olivia's ex-husband? #2, Olivia's secret marriage. #3, Olivia, he finally left me. I clicked on the video. Backstage. A reporter asked her. That I'm sorry, at the end of your speech, who was that for? Her agent Mara immediately stepped in. We're here to talk about her work today. But Olivia spoke first. My ex-husband. The room went dead silent for a full second. Then every reporter there lost their minds. Ex-husband. So you were married. When did you get divorced? Is he in the industry? Can you share what happened? Olivia looked straight into the camera. Her face was blank. But her eyes were red. Badly red. Today. It was my fault. I didn't do enough. He finally left me. The video cut off there. I sat there holding my noodle cup. Completely still. Steam fogged up my glasses. I slowly took them off. Wiped them clean. And put them back on. Great. I wasn't seeing things. She'd actually said it. Olivia Voss. Win your award. Fine. Why drag your ex-husband into it like some kind of prize reveal? I didn't sleep well that night. To be honest. I didn't sleep at all. My phone buzzed nonstop until 3 a.m. Until I finally turned it off. The next morning. Jake burst into the studio. White as a sheet. Dude. There are people outside. I just washed my face. Clients. Nah. Someone chasing payment. Nah. Then why are you panicking? He lifted a corner of the curtain. Across the street. 3 guys were crouched there with cameras. Farther down. 2 girls were filming with their phones. I went quiet. Jake went quiet too. After a second. He said. Dude. You're famous. Shut up. I said. He shut right up. I opened Twitter. Overnight. People online had come up with 18 different theories about who Olivia's ex-husband was. Some said it was a young director. Some said a rich investor. Some said some rich heir. Some said the male lead from her movie. Then some gossip account posted a blurry photo. In the photo, Olivia was walking through an airport with her head down. And I was right behind her in a cab. Carrying her suitcase. It was last winter. She'd had a stomach flare-up. So I'd picked her up at the airport. Back then I'd thought only half my side profile was in Firmino way anyone would recognize me. Now, based on that half profile, my height, my shoes, and the camera strap on my wrist, people had tracked me down to my studio's account. My studio's follower count had jumped from 2,000 to 200,000. My DMs were flooded. Are you Olivia's ex-husband? Why did you leave her? Are you a total jerk? How much for a portrait session? Can you make me look like the ex-husband of an A-list actress? I stared at the last one and laughed. Annoyed. Jake stood next to me and whispered. Dude. Are we opening today? Yeah. There are people out there. I know. They're gonna take pictures of you. Let 'em. You're not scared. I plugged a camera battery into the charger. Scared or not. I still gotta make rent. Jake gave me a thumbs up. Dude. No wonder you were married to a movie star for 2 years. You're unshakable. No sooner had I unlocked the door than a woman with short hair walked in. Black blazer. Low heels. Tablet in hand. Mara Carter. Olivia's agent. Famous in the industry for being ruthless. Rumor had it she managed her clients like a drill sergeant, schedules down to the minute. Press releases down to the punctuation. Cross her. And she'd freeze you with a single look. She stood in front of me. And her first words were, Mr. Hayes. We need to talk. I glanced toward the door. Right now. Right now. I have a client at 10. I already rescheduled them for you. I looked at Jake. Jake shook his head so hard I thought it'd fall off. It wasn't me. She called the client herself. The second they heard it was Olivia Voss's agent. They said it was fine, they'd wait till next year. I said nothing. Mara glanced around the studio. Light stands. Backdrops. Half-edited photos. A half cup of cold coffee on the desk. She didn't linger. Just set her tablet down in front of me. The situation is completely out of control right now. The screen was full of data points. Related hashtags had hit over 1 billion views. Short-form edits and clips had passed 100 million. The studio account had gained over 200,000 followers. Gossip accounts were digging up my address. My client list. My past work. The more I read, the worse my headache got. Put out a statement. I said. Saying what? Amicable divorce. No further comment. We don't want to take up public attention. Mara looked at me. For a regular celebrity. That would work. But Olivia said he finally left me last night. On camera. If we say it was amicable now, no one will buy it. So what do you plan to do? Lay low. Let it die down. Sounds good. On one condition, you don't respond. Don't show your face. Don't do interviews. And don't see her. I nodded. Fine by me. Mara stared at me. She doesn't agree. I froze. What does she want? She wants to go public with who you are. I almost laughed out loud. Does she want me to get torn apart online? Mara rubbed her temples. Looking exhausted. She said, since you got dragged into this anyway, you shouldn't have to take all the heat alone. I went quiet. Mr. Hayes. I know you're divorced. But if this keeps blowing up, it's bad for both of you. I need you to work with me here. How? For the next 3 days, close the shop. Don't post anything online. Don't reply to any comments about this. Can't close the shop. Mara frowned. Why not? I gotta eat. Pay rent. We'll compensate you for lost income. My clients have deadlines too. I said. Someone waited 2 months for ID photos. Someone's getting married tomorrow and needs their wedding prints today. A guy's product launches next week and we haven't finished shooting it yet. Something shifted in Mara's eyes when she heard that. She probably hadn't expected You'll be worrying about clients at a time like this. You celebrities can wait for the hype to die down. I can't. A small studio like this one day closed is 1 day of money gone. Mara was quiet for a moment. At least stay out of sight. Then, I glanced at Jake. Jake immediately raised his hand. I can man the front. Mara nodded. That works. She packed up her tablet. Then paused right at the door. Mr. Hayes. Yeah. What she said last night, it wasn't planned. The team didn't put her up to it. I knew that already. If it had been planned, Mara wouldn't look like she'd just come back from a war zone. I've managed her for 6 years. She said. First time I've ever seen her lose it like this. The door closed behind her. Jake leaned over. Dude. What? You think she regrets it? The divorce. I kept organizing my camera gear. Don't know. What about you? I didn't answer. He was about to ask again. But I looked up at him. You finished setting up the lights for today's shoot. He shut right up. That afternoon, a client came to pick up her photos. A regular girl. Picking up her graduation portraits. She was nervous at first. Kept glancing down and sneaking looks at me. I handed her the photo album. She flipped through a few pages. And her eyes lit up. These are amazing. She said. You were easy to shoot. No. She said seriously. I'm so awkward in photos usually. But in these I look like I'm actually happy. I smiled a little. You were happy that day. She left hugging her album tight. I stood in the doorway and watched her run off into the rain under her umbrella. I thought of Olivia. Suddenly. Everyone said she had amazing camera sense. Of course she did. She knew her best angles. She knew where the light was coming from. She knew exactly what expression would get her compliments. But when I photographed her, I always waited for the moments she wasn't looking at the camera. When she wasn't on, she was even more beautiful. She just never knew it. That night, right before closing, the bell above the door jingled. I thought it was a client. And looked up. Olivia was standing in the doorway. Cap. Mask. Black coat. Holding a bag of fruit. My first thought wasn't that my heart skipped a beat. It was that my head started hurting. What are you doing here? She set the bag of fruit on the desk. Mara doesn't know I'm here. If she finds out, she'll kill me. She'll kill me first. Fair. Olivia looked at me. Her eyes were even redder than last night. And her face was pale. I nodded at the bag. What's this for? You have a bad stomach. I went quiet. Back when we lived together, I'd had a few stomach flare-ups. She couldn't cook. And she had no idea how to take care of someone. First time she made me congee. She cooked the rice into glue. Second time, she ordered delivery and left like 20 notes. No spice. No oil. Not cold. Not too salty. The restaurant wrote back, maybe you should just make it yourself. She'd been so mad she didn't speak for an hour. After that she wised up and just bought me fruit and medicine. Olivia. I said. We're divorced now. Her lashes fluttered. I know. Then this isn't right. You showing up like this. I just wanted to see you. Her voice was so soft. I suddenly didn't know what to say. She never used to talk like this. If she wanted me to pick her up, she'd just text, "What time are you free tonight?" If she wanted me to eat with her, she'd ask, "Have you eaten?" If she wanted me to stay over, She'd just say, "It's raining outside." Always beating around the bush. Never saying what she actually meant. I used to think she just didn't care. Later I realized it wasn't that she didn't care, she just didn't know how to say it. But not knowing how didn't make it hurt any less. I pushed the bag of tea back toward her. "Don't come here again." Olivia didn't take it. She was looking at the photo wall behind me. It was covered in client work. Wedding photos. Product shots. Graduation portraits. Kids' photos. Way in the corner. There was one photo where you couldn't see the person's face. A woman sitting by the window. Wearing a gray jacket. Holding a cup. The sunset hit her side profile. Soft and warm. Olivia stared at it for a long time. "You kept it." I followed her gaze. I'd never taken that photo down. Not because I couldn't bear to. It had just been up there so long. I forgot about it. I wanted to say that. But it sounded like a lie. So I said nothing. Olivia said quietly, "Why did you take it? That day. The light was good." "Just the light." "Yeah." She looked down and smiled a little. "Ethan. When you lie. You look to the left." I froze. She'd never called me out on it before. That's how it always was between us. She pretended she didn't know I loved her. I pretended I didn't know when she was hurting. Neither of us ever said anything. We both kept up appearances. So much so that we ended up divorced. Suddenly there were footsteps outside the door. Someone called out, "Is this it? Did Olivia go in here?" My stomach dropped. Olivia heard it too. I slammed the rolling shutter down and hit the lights. The studio went dark. She was standing really close to me. Close enough that I could smell the faint woody scent of her perfume. Someone banged on the door. "Hey. You still open?" I didn't make a sound. Olivia didn't move either. In the dark. She whispered, "I'm sorry." I leaned back against the wall. "That why you came? To say sorry? There's something else." "What?" She was quiet for a really long time. Long enough that the people outside left. And the sound of the rain got loud again. "I regret it," she said. Something squeezed my chest. Soft and sharp. But I didn't say anything. Olivia's voice was low. "I didn't just regret it last night. I've regretted it for a long time. I just always thought you'd still be there. Waiting for me. That made me angry." Suddenly. I looked at her. "So you thought I'd just wait forever?" Her face went pale. "No. That's not it. Olivia. I did wait." My voice wasn't loud. But every word was clear. "You'd film for 3 months and never come home. I waited. Your birthday. You said you'd come home for dinner. Then bailed last minute for work. I waited. You were sick. You held my hand so tight I thought you'd never let go. Then you woke up and the first thing you said was to have the driver take me home. I still waited. But no one can wait forever." She stood there in the dark. Her eyes bright red. "I know. No. You don't." I said. "You just realized I'm not waiting anymore." The air went still. I regretted saying it the second it left my mouth. It was too harsh. But it was true. Olivia didn't cry. She just nodded. Slow and quiet. "You're right." She set the bag of fruit down on the desk. "I won't show up out of nowhere again. And I won't let you get hounded by paparazzi because of me. I'm sorry about today." She turned and headed for the back door. For a split second. I panicked. But I didn't call her name. I heard the back door open. Then close. The sound of rain rushed in. Then was cut off again. I stood there in the dark for a long time. Not moving. The next day. Olivia posted on Twitter. It wasn't an official studio statement. It was from her personal account. About my marriage. "I handled it badly. Please don't bother him. He's not in the industry. And he didn't do anything wrong by me." Just one short sentence. And the hashtags blew up all over again. The comments were split right down the middle. Some called her lovesick and stupid. Some called me cold-hearted. Some said adult breakups are never that simple. And some people tarred shipping it. So she really is protecting her ex. Someone saw her go to that West Side studio yesterday. Oh my God. This is that groveling to get your ex back trope IRL. What does the ex-husband even look like? I didn't say anything. But studio bookings went through the roof. Jake stared at the booking back end. Eyes wide. "Dude. We're gonna be rich." I looked at him. He immediately corrected himself. Wait, now we're gonna work ourselves to death. It was exhausting. That's for sure. For the next week. I shot from morning till night almost every day. Some people were actually there for photos. Some were just there to gawk. I took all of them. Money's not the enemy. But every time I shot someone, they'd ask, "Hey, do you actually know Olivia Voss?" I always said the same thing. Client privacy. I can't comment. One girl grinned and asked, "Do you still like her?" My finger paused on the shutter button. Then I said, "Look at the camera." She smiled even wider. That night after closing, Liam came over to drink. He was my college roommate. Owned a small bar. And his favorite hobby was teasing me. He sat on the studio floor and popped open 2 cans of beer. "You're pretty famous these days. Ex-husband guy." I kicked his leg. He laughed and moved away. "For real. Though. What are you thinking?" "Thinking about what?" "About Olivia." I took a sip of beer. "We're divorced." "I know you're divorced," Liam said. "I mean, she obviously regrets it." I stared at the condensation dripping down the beer can. Regret isn't the same as love. Dude. That's cold. Way too rational. What else am I supposed to be? I said. She's Olivia Voss. Right now she's all caught up in it, posting online. Showing up at my door. Saying she regrets it. But once this dies down. Once she's back on set. Back in the spotlight, she'll probably go right back to how she was before. Liam went quiet for a second. You're scared she'll go back to being that person. I didn't say anything. Liam sighed. Ethan. It's not that you don't like her anymore. I looked at him. You're scared if you let yourself fall for her again. You'll just get hurt all over again. I smiled a little. I didn't argue. Because he was right. The scariest thing isn't losing something. It's knowing how badly it burned last time. And still wanting to reach back into the fire. At 11 that night, Olivia texted me for the first time since the divorce. I start filming tomorrow. I stared at it for a long time. Then I texted back one word. Okay. She texted back right away. Shooting in South City this time. About 2 months. Okay. I'll do good work. Okay. This time she went quiet for a long time. Then she sent one more line. Ethan. I'm gonna learn how to say what I mean. My finger hovered over the screen. Finally I texted back. Get some sleep first. She sent back a meme. A little dog nodding its head. I stared at that meme and smiled, to myself. Olivia never used to send memes. She thought they were childish. Guess she really was trying to change. For the next 2 months. We texted every now and then. Not a lot. She was busy filming. I was busy with the studio. But she started telling me things she never would have before. Did an underwater scene today. Kinda cold. Director said I was overacting the emotion. Need to dial it back. Catering sucks. I want beef noodle soup from that shop downstairs from you. Sometimes I took a while to reply. She never rushed me. One night at 2 a.m. She sent a photo. The set at night. Tall light stands. Wet pavement glowing under them. She was sitting by the monitor in a thick coat. Only half her face visible. Today's scene made me think of something you said once. What did I say? Don't act pretty. Act real. I stared at that message for a long time. I'd said that so long ago. I'd said it the first time she asked me to watch her audition tape. She'd been mad about it back then. Said I didn't know anything about acting. I said I didn't know about acting. But I knew about cameras. Cameras are more honest than people. The harder you try to look pretty, the more obvious it is that you're trying. She hadn't spoken to me for the rest of the day. I never thought she'd remembered it all this time. How'd the take go? A few minutes later. She sent a voice note. I pressed play. Her voice was a little hoarse. But there was a faint smile in it. The director said it was pretty good. I listened to it twice. Third time. Jake leaned over my shoulder. Dude. That smile is so gross. I flipped my phone face down. Go edit photos. He added one more before he left. Men in love are terrifying. I didn't admit it. But I didn't deny it either. 2 months later. Olivia wrapped filming. She came back on a Friday. I had a magazine shoot that day. Busy from morning till night. When I finished up, it was raining outside. I was about to lock up when the bell above the door jingled. Olivia was standing in the doorway. This time. No cap. No mask. She was wearing a simple white button-down and jeans. Holding a black umbrella. Her shoulders were a little damp from the rain. Jake sucked in a breath beside me. Was. Hi. He'd almost said boss lady. I gave him a look. He immediately grabbed his camera bag and bolted upstairs. Olivia looked at me. A little nervous. Can I come in? You're already halfway in, I said. She stepped inside and set her umbrella by the door. The studio still smelled like a day of shooting. Coffee. Warm light bulbs. Dust from the backdrops. And a faint damp rain smell. She glanced at the photo wall. That photo of her by the window was still there. There were just a few new client shots next to it now. She said quietly. You never took it down. Forgot. She looked at me. I added. For real this time. She smiled. When she smiled, her eyes crinkled just a little at the corners. I'd barely ever seen it back then. Now I realized how much prettier she was when she smiled than when she was cold and distant. Rap go okay? I asked. You eaten? She shook her head. I checked the time. Beef noodle soup. Her eyes lit up. Really? Why not? We went to the beef noodle shop downstairs. The owner knew me. Was about to call out my usual greeting. Then saw Olivia and froze. Why's that? Olivia smiled politely. Hello. The guy's face went bright red. I said. 2 beef noodle soups. 1 no cilantro. Olivia looked at me. You start eating cilantro now. She shook her head. Then why are you looking at me like that? She looked down and smiled. When the noodles came, she ate slowly. Not because she was being fancy, because it was hot. She'd huff quietly when it burned her tongue. Like she didn't want me to notice. I slid a glass of cold water over to her. Thanks, she said. The owner kept glancing over at us while he wiped tables. I bet the whole street would know Olivia Voss ate at his shop by tomorrow. When we finished, it was still raining. We walked back slowly along the sidewalk. Neither of us said anything. But the silence wasn't like it used to be. Back then, silence felt like a wall between us. Now it felt like rain. Soft. Steady sound. But not heavy. Not suffocating. When we got to the studio, Olivia stopped. Ethan. Yeah. She pulled an envelope out of her bag. This is for you. I took it and opened it. There was a photo inside. It was me. Well, the back of me. Editing photos at the studio. Black t-shirt. Messy hair. Coffee and a camera on the desk. The glow of the screen hitting the side of my face. It wasn't a professional shot. The composition was even a little crooked. But the light was perfect. I froze. When did you take this? A long time ago. How long? First year we were married. I looked up at her. She looked away. Awkward. You were editing till like 2 a.m. I couldn't sleep. Came downstairs for water. And you took a picture of me without asking. She admitted it so quiet I almost didn't hear. I kept it. All this time. I stared at the photo. I thought back to that year. Suddenly. I'd thought she didn't care about my work. She never asked what I was shooting. Hardly ever complimented my photos. Turns out she'd noticed. She'd even taken a picture of me. Olivia said. I never used to get why you liked taking photos of people when they weren't looking at the camera. I get it a little now. Because that's when they look most like themselves. She looked up at me. Ethan. I used to always hunt for my best angle in every shot. But when you looked at me you never expected me to be perfect. My fingers tightened a little around the photo. She kept going. I thought about it for so long why the divorce hurt so bad. It wasn't because I lost someone to take care of me. It wasn't even that I wasn't used to being alone. It was because I finally realized I'd lost the one person who'd seen me at my worst and still left the light on for me. When she said that, it felt like even the rain stopped for a second. I looked at her. Olivia. She said quickly. You don't have to answer right now. I almost laughed at how serious she was. But she kept going. I'm not here to pressure you into getting back together. I just want to actually try. To court you. Properly this time. If you don't want that, I'll stop the second you tell me you hate me. I raised an eyebrow. What if I never say it? She thought about it. Then I'll keep trying. Forever. I looked down and smiled. Back when she couldn't say what she meant. She'd driven me crazy. now that she was learning. She was so straightforward it was hard to keep up. You even know how to date someone? I asked. Not really. She said honestly. So what's your plan? Mara made me a plan. She pulled a neatly folded piece of paper out of her bag. I unfolded it and read. Title: Olivia's Win Him Back Action Plan. No surprise visits. Text ahead. No impulsive trending tweets. Say what you want. Don't make him guess. At least one normal conversation per week. No fancy gifts. Get things he actually needs. Respect no. I stared at the list for a long time. Mara wrote this. MHM. She's thorough. I'll give her that. Olivia nodded. Said it's the hardest talent management plan she's ever put together. I couldn't help it. I laughed out loud. Olivia looked at me and smiled too. In the rainy dark. Standing at my studio door. Her eyes didn't have that cold, distant fog they used to. It was like she'd finally stepped out of somewhere dark. I folded the plan back up and handed it to her. You already broke rule number 1. She blinked. I didn't text ahead today. Nope. Then can I book tomorrow? Tomorrow's booked solid. I said. Her face fell a little. Then I added. I'm free the night after next. She looked up. Can we get dinner? I looked at her. Yeah. We can. Her eyes lit up. Slow and bright. Like someone had lit a candle inside them. 5. Olivia took this courting thing way more seriously than I expected. She actually started texting ahead. Every time she came over. She'd message first. 7 tomorrow night. You free? No worries if not. Sometimes when I was busy. She'd reply. Okay. Get some rest when you're done. No drama. No pushing. No surprise drop-ins. She started sharing little things about her day too. Funny things from commercial shoots. Lines from her scripts. How Mara had yelled at her for 10 minutes for drinking iced coffee again. I'd sent her photos from the studio every now and then. The new backdrop we'd put up. The light stand Jake had broken. How the beef noodle guy had framed her autograph and hung it by the register. She always reply. Ed thoughtfully. It felt like we were finally making up for all the parts we'd missed when we were married. Talking. Eating together. Fighting about tiny stupid things. Then talking it out. Once. A commercial shoot got rescheduled last minute. So I had to cancel our dinner plans. She only texted back one word, okay. I stared at that word and suddenly thought of the old days. She'd always replied okay back then too. One word. No way to tell how she felt. That night after the shoot. I called her. Are you mad at me? She was quiet for a few seconds. A little. My chest tightened. Then she added. But I know it's work. You didn't do it on purpose. Then why'd you just say okay? She said quietly. Because I don't know how to say I'm upset. I leaned against the wall outside the studio and smiled. You can just say. Ethan. I'm a little upset. There was silence on the other end. Then she repeated it. Very seriously. Ethan. I'm a little upset. Okay. I hear you. I said. I'll make it up to you tomorrow. Beef noodle soup. She asked. When did you get so easy to please? Because it's really good. I laughed for a long time. In that moment. I realized you can start over with someone. As long as this time. Neither of you pretends. A month later. Olivia's new movie got a release date. She had a magazine cover shoot coming up. When the brand reached out to my studio. Jake almost fell out of his chair. Dude. Olivia's team wants us to shoot the cover. I stared at the email. Stunned too. Right after. Olivia texted me. I didn't arrange this. The brand picked you guys on their own. You can say no if it's weird. Why would I say no? She replied fast. Didn't want you to think I was mixing work and personal stuff. I thought about it. We'll do it as a normal commercial job. Full rate. No discount. She sent that little nodding dog meme again. On shoot day. Olivia showed up half an hour early. She sat in the makeup chair. Eyes closed while the artist worked. I was setting up the lights. She watched me through the mirror. I pretended not to notice. Jake whispered beside me. Dude. Your ears are red. Lights are hot. I said. He snickered. Once we started shooting. Olivia slipped into character instantly. She was so good in front of a camera. A glance. A turn of her shoulder. A pause, every move was precise. Like it had been choreographed. The crew kept complimenting her. Olivia is incredible. That shot is perfect. We could publish these right now. But I stared at the monitor and frowned. Olivia noticed. What's wrong? Too pretty. I said. The whole room went quiet. The brand rep looked totally confused. Too pretty. Is that a bad thing? I looked right at Olivia. Yeah. It is. She didn't get mad. She smiled a little instead. Then what do you want? Stop playing Olivia Voss. I said. She stared at me. I set my camera down. You're not walking a red carpet today. You're not accepting an award. You're just sitting in a room at 3 p.m. waiting for a rainstorm that's running late. Stop thinking about the camera. Think about something real. Something yours. Olivia went still. A few seconds later. She settled back into the chair. The lights hit her again. She didn't put on that perfect, practiced face anymore. She just turned her head a little. And looked out the window. In that second. That polished, perfect shell around her just melted away. Tiredness. Softness. Hesitation. And a quiet, unspoken joy, all of it rose to the surface in her eyes. I hit the shutter. Click. No one in the room said a word. After a few seconds. The brand rep said quietly. That's the one. I stared at the screen. It was perfect. Not the most beautiful version of Olivia. But the realest one. After the shoot. She took off her makeup and came over to me. You were mean to me back there. She said. It was work. You never used to be that direct with me. I didn't dare. Back then. She smiled. And now you do. Now you're a client. Just a client. I glanced at her. There was a little smile in her eyes. I started packing up my camera. For now. She made a soft "oh" sound. Her voice went up at the end. Like she didn't buy it. That cover shoot blew up. People online said it was the most evocative set of photos Olivia had done in years. One comment said. Other photographers shoot how pretty she is. Ethan shoots how alive she is. That comment got pinned to the top. Olivia liked it. And then my studio was trending again. Olivia through Ethan's lens. Jake stared at the flooded booking backend. Deadpan. Dude. I'm convinced you two are soulmates now. Why? Because when you two fall in love, I'm the one who suffers. All this work. The day we actually got back together, there was no big dramatic moment. No trending hashtags. No red carpet. No awards ceremony. Just a regular, ordinary evening. The power went out at the studio that day. The whole street lost power. Jake left early. And I sat upstairs alone. Waiting for maintenance to fix it. The sunset outside was beautiful. Light slanted through the windows and spilled across the floor. Like a river of gold. When Olivia showed up. She was carrying 2 bowls of beef noodle soup. She'd texted ahead. This time. She'd booked properly. The guy downstairs said you hadn't eaten today. She said. Setting the bowls down. Said I should make sure you finish. You two pretty close now. I asked. MHM. She said. He asked when I'd be the boss lady again. I almost choked on my soup. She sat across from me. Eyes full of laughter. What did you tell him? I said that's up to Mr. Hayes. I went back to my noodles. Pretended I hadn't heard her. She didn't push. Just sat there quiet. Watching the sun go down. No lights on in the studio. Just the glow from outside. I suddenly thought about the day we got married. No wedding. No ring ceremony. Just got the license. Got dinner. Then went back to our separate jobs. Back then I'd thought our relationship was wrong from the start. But now I thought maybe it wasn't wrong. Maybe it was just 2 people who didn't know how to love. Getting handed a test that was too hard. We flunked it the first time. Olivia said suddenly. Ethan. Yeah. I went to see a therapist today. I froze mid-bite. Her voice was calm. I used to think showing how you felt was embarrassing. Being sad. Wanting something. Being scared, none of it should be visible to anyone else. The therapist said that's not strength. It's a defense mechanism. She looked at me. I'm learning to be different. I set my chopsticks down. Why are you telling me this? Because I want you to know this isn't just talk. She paused. I'm actually trying. Something in my chest went completely soft. Then she pulled a small box out of her bag. I recognized that box. The wedding ring box. After the divorce. She'd taken my ring with her. Then later she said she'd found hers too. Now both rings were inside. Olivia pushed the box toward me. I'm not asking you to put it on right now. She said it so seriously. I just want to give the choice back to you. When we got married, I was the one who proposed the arrangement. When we got divorced, I was the one who brought it up. It feels like every time, I was the one who decided first. Her voice got quieter. This time I want to wait for you to decide. I stared at the two rings. The sunset hit the silver bands, casting a soft warm glow. What if I never decide? I asked. She smiled a little. Then I'll wait forever. How long? Till you tell me to stop. I looked at her. She said it so softly. But her eyes were steady. I suddenly thought of that day outside the county clerk's office. When she'd asked if I was happy. I'd said it was fine. Back then I thought if I left her, I'd be free. Later I realized the freedom I wanted wasn't never loving her again. It was being able to say out loud, I loved you. It hurt. I was disappointed and I still want to try again. I picked up my ring. Olivia's breath caught. Sharp and clear. I didn't put it on right away. Just held it in my palm. Olivia. She looked at me. We can get back together. Her eyes went red instantly. But there are rules. I said. She nodded fast. Tell me. 1. Say what you mean. No making me guess. Okay. 2. No solving relationship problems via trending tweets. She looked a little guilty. Okay. 3. Work matters. But I matter too. Her eyes got wetter. Okay. 4. I looked wry at her. No more saying he finally left me. She laughed. But tears rolled down her face. What should I say instead? I thought about it. Say he took me back. Olivia froze. Then she cried and laughed at the same time. I slipped the ring back on my finger. It still fit perfectly. Like the ring always knew I'd come back to it eventually. Olivia stared at my hand. And cried harder. I sighed and handed her a tissue. Award-winning actress. Pull it together. She took the tissue. But then suddenly reached over and hugged me. Tight. So tight. Like she'd finally found someone she'd lost a long time ago. Her voice was muffled against my shoulder. Ethan. Yeah. I missed you so much. This time. She said it straight. No beating around the bush. No hiding. I put my arms around her and hugged her back. The last of the sunset faded outside the window. The studio went dark. But I didn't turn on the lights. Because we didn't need them. Right then. Word of us getting back together got out anyway. Of course. Paparazzi got photos. That night, when Olivia left the studio, the paparazzi waiting outside caught her. In the photos, she was standing in the doorway, staring down at my hand. The ring was on my finger. And she was smiling. Eyes crinkled at the corners. Next day. #1 trending. Olivia and Ethan back together. Mara called. Her voice was so calm it was scary. Explain. Olivia was sitting next to me eating breakfast. She immediately pushed the phone toward me. It's your agent. I said. It's your girlfriend. She said back. Great. 5 minutes back together and she was already passing the buck. I answered the phone. Mara. Mara gave a cold laugh. Congratulations. Mr. Hayes. Thanks. I said. Was I congratulating you? Then I'll take it back? She took a deep breath. What do you two plan to say about this? I looked over at Olivia. She looked back at me. This time. She didn't jump in and decide first. She was waiting for me. It felt nice. Honestly. Just a normal statement. I said. Normal how? I thought about it. Confirm we're back together. No drama. No clout chasing. No taking up public attention. Mara was quiet for 3 seconds. That actually sounds reasonable. I said nothing. Before she hung up, she said. Put Olivia on. Olivia took the phone. I couldn't hear what Mara was saying on the other end. All I heard was Olivia. Very seriously. Saying. I know. I won't post anything crazy. I'll talk to Ethan first. Yeah. He matters a lot now. I sipped my soy milk. Trying not to smile so wide my face hurt. 10 minutes later. Olivia posted on Twitter. Learning to love again. And learning to be loved. Thanks for caring. We're good. The photo attached was that shot I'd taken of her by the window. No over-editing. No fancy set. Just sunset. A window. A cup of hot cocoa. And Olivia finally relaxed. I retweeted it. Rule of photo editing. You don't erase every flaw. A little soft focus. A little grain. A little light leak, that's how you know the moment was real. The comments exploded. Yeah, they're back together. Ex-husband no more. Now he's the current husband. That caption made me cry. So when are you guys getting remarried? Is Mara okay? Mara was probably not okay. Because half an hour later, she posted from the studio account. Please do not overinterpret the artist's personal life. Support her work. People spammed the replies. Mara, we owe you so much. She's all grown up. You can't control her anymore. Crowdfunding blood pressure meds for Mara. Jake read the comments and laughed so hard he almost fell out of his chair. Dude. Your relationship is gonna give that woman a heart attack. Less trending. More editing. I said. He pointed at the booking back end. There's too much. I can't keep up. I glanced over. He wasn't wrong. After Olivia's tweet, studio bookings flooded in all over again. So many people left notes. I want photos that make me look loved. I stared at that line and felt a little strange. Warm feeling. Back when I first started, I thought a good photo was all about light, composition, emotion. Later I realized the hardest thing is just being seen. Not seen for being pretty. Seen for being real. Olivia stood behind me, looking at the screen. Ethan. Yeah. Will you still take photos of me? I turned around to look at her. Gonna cost you. She smiled. How much? I thought about it. 1 bowl of beef noodle soup. That's it. Girlfriend discount. Her eyes crinkled into a smile. What about the wife discount? I froze. Jake was over there pretending not to listen. But his ears were perked up higher than the light stands. I looked at Olivia. This time she didn't look away. Didn't play it off like a joke. She meant it. I smiled a little. Depends on how good you are. She nodded. Okay. After closing that night, Olivia helped me turn off the lights. She had no idea how to put gear away. Almost pinched her hand on a reflector. I pulled her away. Hey. Award-winning hands. Don't go breaking them. I can learn. She said. Stubborn. You gonna learn everything. MHM. She looked at me. So serious. I missed so much before. I want to learn all of it now. My chest went soft. I pulled her close and kissed her. She froze. Then her ears turned bright red. Slow. I raised an eyebrow. You gonna learn this too? She looked up at me. Her eyes were so bright. Yeah. Outside. The night was deep and dark. The beef noodle shop downstairs was closed. Just a few streetlights left on along the sidewalk. There was still a little warm glow left in the studio. I suddenly thought this place had never felt more like home. Not because of the ring. Not because we were back together. It was because this time, we were both finally in the same photo. No one out of focus. No one running away. No one staying silent. Later, a reporter asked Olivia, what do you think was the biggest turning point in this relationship? She thought about it for a long time. The divorce. She said. The host blinked. Surprised. She smiled. Because after the divorce, I finally learned that loving someone isn't just keeping them close. It's making sure they actually hear you. And actually listening when they talk. When the interview aired, I started trending all over again. What is so special about Ethan? Liam texted me. What is so special about you anyway? I texted back. I take good photos. Jake added beside me. And you make kanji. Fix lights. Carry backdrops. And take it when the movie star yells at you. Olivia walked in right then. Who yells at him? Jake stood up straight immediately. No one. Ms. Voss. Mr. Hayes yells at me. Ismail Tahir. She smiled back. Sunlight streamed through the windows and fell over her. I grabbed my camera on impulse. Olivia blinked. Right now. Don't move. She automatically started to fix her expression. I said. Don't perform. She stopped. Then she relaxed. Slow and easy. She stood there in the light. Smile in her eyes. A little shy. A little quiet. Perfectly happy. I hit the shutter. Click. This one didn't need editing. because it was real. Hey there. Could you rate this story in the comments? Use a scale of 1 to 10. Please, I am begging you. It really means a lot to me. And if you like this kind of content, don't forget to hit follow.